Among this year's nominees for a Best Actress Barrymore is Ceal Phelan. A self-described multiple Barrymore loser, Phelan was nominated for her portrayal of Madeline in Lantern Theatre Company's production of Breath of Life. She says acting and theater were a big part of her life growing up in suburban Detroit.
My mother was an actress, a professional actress, but she gave up her career to bring up her 4 kids. And then once we were old enough, she went back into the theater and did some industrials around Detroit, and then there were some summer stocks and professional theaters in the Detroit area, as well as the Windsor area, across the river. I didn't train to be an actress. I just enjoyed theater and really didn't do anything until I got to college and finally took my first acting class when I was a sophomore, I think, in college.
She says taking on an actor's life was a conscious decision that arose from a love of acting and a strong desire to work in a theater company.
We were really more interested in regional theater and the idea of company than we were in staying in New York. So we were really dedicated to that, and that's why we established the Delaware Theater Company.
Phelan goes on to discuss why working in repertory appeals to her.
When you have an ensemble, you really get to know each other. There's no ice breaking at the beginning of each rehearsal. You understand how the other person works. Sometimes you become a family with some of those family problems. But all in all, there's a loyalty and possibly a love for each other, and certainly very often a respect that makes you mesh together. If you have a company, then often you're cast in a role you wouldn't normally be cast in, and probably that also is attractive to me because there are a lot of roles that I wouldn't be cast in that I've had the chance to play as a company member.
She says that since being diagnosed in 2002 with an incurable form of cancer, she has a new perspective that has freed her as an actor.
I think I'm just, I think just overall, I'm a little easier with my approach to acting because it's not, it doesn't have the same degree of, being crucial. It's not as life and death as my real situation. And I'm a little more relaxed about acting, I think, which I think is very helpful. I don't tense up as much.
Phelan says an example of that is her portrayal of Madeline in Breath of Life, for which she has earned this Best Actress nomination.
She's a very feeling person, of course, deep down inside, but very steely on the outside, and certainly much more courageous, and holds on to her convictions much more than I could ever do. And, has the courage to forge her own life, and yet she's terribly, terribly vulnerable to this man with whom she and the other woman are so deeply in love.
Phelan offers her take on what aspiring actors need to do in preparation for a life in theater.
You should get a good liberal arts education if you are at all interested in going to college. I mean, if you're not, you're not. And then maybe a conservatory approach. But try to get a combination of education and just get out there and doing it, because acting, of course, is acting.
Ceal Phelan is vying for the Best Actress Barrymore against her colleagues Grace Gunglevsky, Patrice Johnson, Mary Elizabeth Scanlon, Cheryl Williams, and C. Kelly Wright. The winner is to be announced October 4th. For Stage Magazine, I'm Jim Hilgen.